is going on out there, YouTube? It is your boy Look Around with LMD Trading. Hope you had a good day in the market. Hopefully you planned your trades and you traded your plan and you had a successful day in the market. If not, there's always tomorrow. Most important thing is that you stuck to your plan. But figured I'd come on real quick as a first time content creator and make a video showing my trading platform. I had a couple of people in a group that I kind of sit in and kind of listen. A couple of people asked me if I could show them my trading station that I use for my particular trading strategy. So I figure I'd go ahead and make that this evening. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this changed over to my trading station, and it'll be the first screen that I pretty much look at in the mornings when I'm sitting down. So go ahead and get that pulled over, get my camera taken off the screen, and that there is what my screen looks like in the mornings when I'm sitting down to start going through stocks to try to get some ideas to trade. So I do use TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim platform to trade. So I'll go ahead and go through what I look for and what I'm looking at on my screen. Over to the upper left, I have a gadget here that just gives me the news for whichever stock that I'm looking at. Below that, I have my watch list for what I call my option scans, and it's basically a screener with some pretty simple criteria in there that I'm looking for. But on my watch list, of course, got my symbols, got what the stock closed at the previous day. That's what the last is. Market is what it's trading at now. Usually this number is going to be different in the mornings when you're sitting down because of whatever the stock did after hours the day before, as well as what it's doing in the pre-market that morning. I have a column for percent change between the market and where it closed, column for dollar gained or dollar loss, column for volume, and for my option strategy, I include a column for average trading range. So I like to know what a particular stock's trading range is for a particular trading session. So this here just gives you an average over a determined period. So when I first sit down, I'll sort this list out by dollar gains, so I can see which stocks have the biggest gains in the morning going into the open. Right now it is 10:45 Eastern time, so these numbers here are not going to be true and correct as to what they did or what they're doing, only because this is showing you what they did today. That's what this is. But as we can see, this one had a $31 change for GameStop GME, and its average trading range is $13. So today it traded above its normal range. The next one, PANW, its usual trading range is $20. Today it did $29. So this column here just tells me what kind of movement I can see in the stock in during that particular trading session, which is very important when trading options, more so than most people in the mornings when they're trading. They're usually doing momentum trading, so they're looking for small movement in that stock, but with quantity. So they may buy 1,000 shares, they may buy 10,000 shares, and a 10-cent move will be pretty drastic profit or loss for them. But within my option strategy that I use, I'm usually looking to see the stock move a dollar or two. So because of that, I need to see a stock. Normally, this list is going to give me a stock that's usually moving a minimum of $2 ATR for it to hit the list. Usually, I won't add anything like that to my ideas unless the pre-market chart is showing something pretty drastic that would make me want to look at getting into it. Like maybe the stock has been consolidating and it's sitting right at an area where it may break out and may make a move and make a move a little higher than what its average trading range is. But I still like I said, I like to take a peek at them. So this list is going to give me anything over $2 on that average trading range. Below that, I have another watch list where I'm putting my ideas at. Then we go over to the right and we have our charts, which is the bread and butter. This is what's going to tell us whether or not we need to look at and think about getting into a trade, and then we break it down to a smaller time frame to see if we find a pattern that can get us into a trade. So the first chart, which is upper left, is the hourly chart, and it has the after hours and pre-market turned on, which is the shaded in gray area. And on this chart, I use one moving average, which is the 50-day exponential, which is a very powerful moving average. If you had never taken a look at it, I would suggest you definitely take a look at it especially on the hourly. You'll see once I get down to my 2-minute chart, I have it on my 2-minute chart, but it's a custom study or custom moving average that I made, and I'll kind of explain it once I get over there to that one. But that's what this upper left one is. The lower one is a daily chart, and on the daily, it just has the 200 moving average, which is, like I said, another powerful moving average that a lot of institutions use as well as day traders. Upper right is the weekly. I don't really use this for day trading. Actually, I probably never really use it for day trading, but I will use it if I'm trying to find some swing trade ideas, just because it'll give you the long term trend of a stock. So if you're planning on holding it for a week, 2 weeks, a month, you can kind of get an idea on what the trend is doing on a longer time frame. And then below that one, we have the 2-minute, and the 2-minute has the after hours turned on as well. Pretty much seeing all of the after hours here. I'll scroll it over a little bit, and you can see actual market hours here, which is black. On this chart, I have the VWAP, which is another widely used indicator on charts. And then I have the 50-day exponential moving average. And this one on the 2-minute, the time frame for this is set to hourly. So if you notice up at the hourly chart, you see that the 50-day is at 470.89. That's where it's sitting at right now. If you go down on the 2-minute, it's that same amount, 470.89. If you do go into the studies and you just add the exponential 50-day moving average indicator, it's going to give you a totally different number than that right there. Like I said, this was a custom study that I set up for this chart just so I can see where the 50-day is when the market is moving and not have to go back and look at the hourly. But this here is the screen that I'm using in the mornings. I'll kind of go through some real quick just to give you a quick rough idea on usually what I'm doing. So I'll normally just start whatever get up there, whatever the first one is on the list. If I'm going long, first thing that the stock needs to meet is that it's trading above the 50-day moving average. So on this one, if we were looking at GameStop and this was in the morning, it would meet that first criteria. From that point, I'll go over here to my 2-minute chart, which I have set up to where if I click on it, it will drop an arrow. So I'll usually highlight where the stock is trading at right now. It'll drop an arrow on my chart, which you see it dropped on all of them. Once it does that, then I'll narrow down to the daily and see where it's at on the daily. But give me 1 second. I'm going to clear off all of these lines. And we'll start all over again. So again, click it. It's dropping my arrow on my daily. So if this was in the morning, I would see that it's gapping over these red candles. It's gapping over this area here of resistance. So I drop a line right there, and I would drop a line wherever the next area of resistance is going to be, which is right there. So I would go ahead and drop a line right there. That would give me my potential trading range to make money. So if that area was decent, then I would go ahead and add that to the list. And one thing I did forget to mention, another thing I'm looking at before I even come over here is what the ATR is. So ATR is 13, so that would definitely be one that I would be interested in. So I would go ahead, drag it down, and then it would add it to my daily ideas. In this watch list, it always has the SPY and the QQQs in there because those are always stocks that have the potential to be ideas. And then when I switch over to my thumbnail watch list, you'll also see that those are pretty much stationary. But we'll go down to the next one here, which is PANW. Has an ATR of 20, well within our range for that. So we'll come back here, we'll look, make sure it's above the ATR. If it's above the ATR, then that it meets that first criteria. And if you look, we'll just go back in history on this one. If you look, you'll see that 50-day moving average is a pretty good indicator of if a stock is going to have support or resistance off of that. So that's why I like to see it on my 2-minute, actually it's on my 5-minute once I get down to my actual battle station, trading battle station. But you can see on the hourly just how the stock reacts to it. So again, we want that to be above it. We don't want it to act as resistance going into the open. So We want it above it. It is. We'll come here, see where it's trading at, click it, drop an arrow. So this one here we see is right above. And just for this little brief educational, let's just assume that that candle is not there, that today's candle wasn't there, and it's gapping. So we'd be gapping over this red candle, but we have all of this junk, I like to call it, that we'd have to deal with. So this one would instantly be a no-go. So I just go straight down to Facebook, which is the next one, FB. $10 ATR, we good there. It is above ATR, so we're good there. And we go ahead, click it, drop our candle. We see where our green candle is. Again, it's gapping over this red candle, which is a plus. That is a plus because that's sellers and that's shorts in that candle. If you think about it, if you shorted that stock down here, expecting it to keep dropping lower in the morning, then you kind of stuck. So market open, you're trying to cover, and that's going to push that stock back up. So that would be one important thing. We also see that it's gapping up right to the 200 moving average. So depending on where it's sitting at, that could act as resistance or support if we're over it. And then we do have some junk here though. So for me, this would be one that I might keep in the back of my head, but it wouldn't make my ideas list. And I would go on to the next one, FTNT. Same thing. We look at ATR. ATR is good. Usually anything over about $5 is going to be good for me in this category. Above the 50-day, no, it's not. So we wouldn't go any further on that one. Next one will be SE. ATR is good. Below the 50, that's a no-go. And if we actually look and see what it did today, pretty much bumped its head on that 50-day all day. So, like I said, that would be a no-go. Go down to the next one, Etsy. We'll click that one. Again, ATR is good. Above the 50, no. We're not going to play that one for call options. If we were playing puts, then we would take a look at that. But again, we're looking at stocks that are gapping up. If we were doing puts, we're going to want those to gap down and then be below. So this one, these here are kind of merging into each other. They're gapping up, but they're gapping into that 50, which is going to act as resistance. So we keep on moving. Next one is CRWD. This one, it's right at it and kind of getting over it. So this one would be one that I would keep on the radar. So I would go ahead and go to the next step. We'll go and find the price, click, we'll drop an arrow on the chart. We see that we would be gapping over this red candle. That's pretty good, but we are gapping into this junk right here. So again, like Facebook, this would be one, if we don't have many ideas, those are ones that we could add and just kind of keep an eye on. And what I would be looking for keeping that eye on is that Did it get above the 50-day during the session? Did it retest the 50 and keep moving? Those would be things I'm looking for in the session to see if it would be a good idea to get into it. But right now, that would not be one that I would add. So now we're on to Dash, DASH, $9 ATR. We're good there. Above the 50, we're kind of right at it, testing it. So we'll still see where we're at. We'll drop it. Again, we're trading into this stuff. Trading into this stuff, I say, is just a quick way for me to kind of know whether it's on a downhill. So we can look over here to a little further to the left, and we do see that the stock is in a downtrend, setting lower lows and lower highs. I don't really need to look any further left when I kind of see this trash right here. So this one would be a no-go. BYND, above the 50, so we're good there. We'll go ahead and drop the arrow. And this one here, we see that we are gapping right up to this little area here of consolidation. Let's see, it's at 87. Has about $4 worth of room, which would be good for our option play. So that one there, I would go ahead and drag it down for a little further inspection. And that's all I'm doing when I drag those to that daily ideas. It's just so I give it a quick glance over, make sure that it meets a few different criteria, and then I'll drop it down there, and then I'll kind of narrow it down. But this really is not a video about me, how I pick my stocks. So I'm going to do one more, and then we'll go ahead and I'm going to show you my next screen that I use. So we'll just do DAWC. Above, actually, go back. ATR is good. Above the 50 is good. Let's drop the price. Let's see where we're at. So this one here, we see we gapping up over this stuff right here, this congestion. This one here, I would drop a line there. I would drop another line right here. That's another area of resistance. If this stock gets above both of those, DAWC might be on a tear heading back up again. If it can get over this right here. If it gets over, let's see what that amount is. If it gets over $66.31, it's January 6, 2022. So let's see what that does. Let's see if it can keep that momentum going. We do see, let's see here. What did I say that was? 66.31. Okay. Yep. So we'll see what it does in the pre or after hours. Let me drop that one on there and see. Yeah, so we're testing that right now. So next couple of days, keep an eye on DWAC. We may see another breakout, and we may see some good movement out of that. But that's pretty much what I'm doing in the mornings when I'm going through trying to find ideas. Once I find those ideas, I will then, like I said, kind of go back through, kind of narrow it down. I have a couple of other items that I'm looking at to see if that stock is going to meet that criteria. And I'll go ahead and switch this over to my thumbnail watch list, just so you can kind of see what that is. So give me one sec. I'll go ahead and get that one pulled up. And that's not it, but we'll do this right here, and then I'll do that. So we'll go right there. All right, so this here is my thumbnail watch list. So once I get those ideas, I'm gonna clear that out real quick. Come back here, I'm gonna put the Q's and the spies there. Those are always on there. So this is where I put my ideas at. So right now I just have BYND. So I would put that one there. GME. I would drop that one. Actually, it didn't want to follow. So actually, I'm going to just come up here and type it. And I would just put those there. And depending on how many ideas I have on my daily ideas watch list, is how many stocks that I fill this up with. Usually I use these 2 rows here for call ideas, and then here on these 4 I usually try to find 4 put ideas. So I'll just flip that option scan watch list to where it's showing me dollar losers, and I'll do that same criteria. Check, make sure the ATR is good. Next, make sure with puts that they are below the 50-day moving average. And then I'm just trying to set my areas of support, resistance, see if it's gapping anything over anything that's significant. If you're looking for a put, I'm looking for it to be gapping down under a green candle. So if the previous day's candle was a nice wide green candle, I'm looking for it to gap down below that candle, basically trapping a bunch of long buyers to where when they see that stock opening lower in the morning, they're going to be selling. And as they sell, they just driving the price down further and further. And then I'm just looking for a pattern once I get onto the I'm looking for a pattern once we get into the day and start trading. But this was where my thumbnail watch list is at. So I'm gonna just type some in there for now. And like I said, I'm just basically watching these when the market opens. Not focusing on anything else. I'm just watching those and just looking for a pattern that's forming. Once I see the pattern that's forming, then I'll take it over to my battle station, which I'll show you here in a second. But I'm going to show you one other screen, which is a very important screen, and it's what I call my option trader screen. Let me kill the camera. And this here is what I use once I have my ideas. So I'm going to go ahead and let's click BYND. So as you see, when I'll click it again, you're going to see GME pop up here, which is the option chain. So I'll go back BYND. I'll click that one. I'll look on the option chain. On here, I'm looking for good open interest. I'm looking for a nice low spread. This here is another custom column that I created, which is just giving me the spread between the bid and the ask. I don't want to have to be trying to do numbers. It's just telling me it's a 7-cent spread. This one here has a 17-cent spread. So I want good open interest. That's liquidity. I want a low spread. And then I'm using the delta. And what the delta is telling you is basically for every dollar that stock moves, that's what you'll make off of this contract. 42 cents. With options, you multiply that by 100. So for every dollar that the stock moves, you'll make $42. And you're going to pay anywhere between $277 and $284. Again, multiply that by 100. So you'll pay $277 to $284 for that contract. And that contract, for every dollar that it goes up or down, you will gain or you'll lose $42. Right now, I'm usually in the range of 20. I'll say $20 just to make it easy, or we'll say usually 25. So between 25 to about $40 is where I like that delta to be. So let's say here, this one here has 5,900 contracts open interest. Has a spread of 10 cents. Has a delta of 26. So I would then right click it. We're looking at calls. So I would add that to my calls watch list. And that's right here. This one already had some ideas for some earlier trades that I was doing. But we'll look right there, BYND. We see the call. We see what the open or what the delta is on that. So this here is just a quick glance. So I can look up here. I can see what the delta is. I can see what the last is. If I do get in the trade, I can see what my open P&L is. And then I can see what the spread is. And usually I'm looking at this number here before I get into the trade, because I don't want a spread. Don't want a big spread. Just like when you're trading stocks, that spread is slippage. So if you set your stop and it runs past your stop, you have that much slippage in between it before you might catch somebody that will buy and get you out of that contract. So you want this number to be fairly low. Most of the time, anything over about 15, I usually will not try to get into it unless I see it's let's say maybe a 3-bar play or a breakout that's been consolidating for a while. Then I might give it a little more wiggle room, just knowing the potency that move may offer. But yeah, this is my option screen. So like I said, I'm coming here to my option chain, finding a option. And on this side, we have calls. On this side, we have the puts. So if it was something that I was planning on shorting or wanting that stock to go down, then I would be over here looking to get a put contract. And it would be the same way. So let's just say this one here, open interest, 5,700. Spread is 9 cents. That's within my range. Delta is 39. That's within my range. Right click it, add to watch list, and this time we're adding it to puts. And then it's going to add it to my put watch list. Once I go through and I find my contracts that I'll be interested in, then, and again, this here is all done pretty much before the market is open. I'll go ahead and go ahead through the option chain and find these contracts that I'll be interested in trading. So that way, once the market opens, if I'm watching my thumbnail watch list, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'll go ahead and move back over to my main screen, and we'll take a look at that one real quick and switch over to the battle station, and I'll kind of show you just how easy it is to get back over to that battle station. Give me one sec here. All right, so this was what I call my daily scan screen, where I'm looking for my ideas. I've got my ideas. A couple of minutes before the market is open, it's real quick for me to get over to the battle station. Basically, I'm gonna close that, and I'm gonna come here to flexible grid. And now here is this is my battle station, what I call it. I have an active trader window. This here is solely for me to get in and out of actual stocks. Actual stocks usually, which haven't really been playing much lately. And if I do want to use this for contracts, option contracts, is real simple. I can click right here. I'll go to Lilac, and now you see this has changed to the last contract that I was looking at, and I can use that here so that I don't have to go back over to that other option trader window. But it's not hard for me to be looking at that option trader window. But in the battle station, my trading battle station, I have a 5-minute chart. It has the pre-market after hours turned on. Has the VWAP, which on all my charts is real simple. If you see a gold broken line, that's VWAP. If you see a teal broken line, that's the 50-day exponential moving average. Those are pretty much the only two indicators that I use on my chart. On intraday charts, again, like I say, I do use the 200 on the daily. So below that, we have the 2-minute chart. Again, running with those same two indicators. Right here is the time and sales. With the market closed, you're not really seeing anything going on with it. But if the market was open, this would be showing orders on the time and sales. We have level 2 right here. So we can see what the level 2 is doing. This here is actually important when I do have this active trader switched over to options, because on here this tree is going to be showing me the level 2 for the option, but I still want to see what the stock is doing, and that's where this level 2 would come into play. Below that, right now this is set to 15. Usually when the market is opening, I'll have that set to 1 minute, and it usually does not have the extended turned on, so I'll turn that off. So this, as the market opens, I'm usually looking at the 1 minute. Normally won't take this to get into a trade. I'm usually using the 2-minute or the 5-minute to find patterns. But I'll still be watching the 1 minute just to see what kind of patterns are forming. So we'll be looking at the 1 minute for about the first 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, we'll have 2 candles that have formed for the 15, and then that's when I'll just come here, switch that over to 15. So like on this one this morning, it was setting up for a 15-minute 3-bar play, but it failed. I had a nice wide range green candle, nice little resting bar. It did peekaboo over just a little bit, but then it did pull back. Gave a nice little bottom and tail there though. Nice little buy setup, and you see once it broke, it took off. So I'm just curious to see what that was. So $60 there on the break. It had room up to 63. So it had room up to $3 before I would have gotten worried. So on that one, we picked the delta of 26. So basically $26 for every dollar that it moved. And we had a nice $3 move right there. That would have been a quick, easy $75 on one contract. Think about that. You do, let's say, 5 contracts. That's $375. Each contract would have cost you $1.53. So would have cost you $153 per contract. 5 contracts. So you'd have been spending about 17 to make 375. I'm sorry, you'd have been spending about 750. So that's the potency of options. And then I would just come right here, highlight over that, and I would see what my range is. My range is 191, which it was showing right there. So $2 that this can go down. So if you was putting your stop here, you're risking $50 if the trade turns and doesn't work in your favor, because you definitely want to get out if that candle would have broken the low of this candle. But again, like I said, you got $3 out of it going up to the 50. But 50 gave it a little area of resistance, but it got above it, and then you see it kind of just broke it. They tested it, had an area of resistance here that we just put on the chart, where it kind of was just sandwiched in between it. Once it broke that, it just kind of tested and rode along it the rest of the day. But yeah, this would have been a pretty good trade to look at. And like I said, that's using the 15-minute to get in. Possibly could have narrowed it down on the 2-minute to find an area to get in. Possibly maybe right there on that little pullback. And again, this is where you see that it was testing the 50, testing resistance, testing the 50, testing the resistance. So it was just in that little channel right there. But yeah, the best pattern would have definitely been on the 15-minute. Wouldn't really have wanted to get in right here because it's under the VWAP. And then you wouldn't have wanted to get in anywhere here because it's already running shallow pullback. So like I said, 15, and that's why I'll switch this over to the 15 after 30 minutes. Possibly find the area to get in. But that's what this chart here, it pretty much switches from the 1 minute to the 15-minute once the market is open and established. Below that, we have a little small chart here that's just showing us the daily. Just again to kind of quick glance and see where we're at. Make sure that we didn't forget any areas of support or resistance. And then we also have the news here. So just a little quick glance for the news. But that there is what I use for my trading station, my trading platform. Seems to work pretty good for me. But like with all things, you refine it as you go. And I did forget to mention a couple of things. So I'm going to switch back over to my option trader here real quick. So we got the active window for trading options, options scanner, watch list, just so if anything new pops up there. The message center, which while the market is open, stocks are constantly being added to the option scan. So instead of me trying to have to go through there and figure out which ones add, I have the message center here. So you see, this is my low float Momo scanner, and you can see that it added those two. Not really trading stocks right now, just with how choppy the markets are. I prefer to kind of trade options on the larger cap stocks. But if I was doing some stock plays, I might be interested in looking at those. But then we see here that it added CLR to the option scan. So above that, I have a little quick chart to where I can kind of type in and see what the stock was doing. So it added that at 229. So I'd be able to kind of see what the stock is doing when it's getting added. So that stock was just kind of riding above the VWAP moving up. So it probably triggered on volume. That the volume increased and it kicked it into that scan. We have another watch list here. This is usually either set to the pre-market watch list, which I would use for stocks, or the low float Momo. This here was just where I add my ideas at. Have another watch list here to where I can kind of quick glance if I'm in trades and see where I'm at on those. Here is just a little quick box for me if I want to add trend lines or different items to a watch list. I don't have to go into the draw area. I could just click on those, and it instantly will change it on my charts so that I can draw on them. But yeah, so that's my option screen. That's my trading screen, and then my other screen would be my thumbnail watch list. Those are the three screens that I'm using. I operate with 3 monitors. But appreciate y'all taking your time. If you're still listening to me, I would appreciate definitely would appreciate a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video and you're still watching, by all means, give me a thumbs down. But I only ask one thing, that you go in the comment section and give me constructive criticism. Like I said, this is my first video on YouTube, but I do expect to post many more. I have made a couple kind of reviewing some trades that I took this week. So look to see more content from LMD Trading. And again, hope you all have a good day and get you some good rest and be ready to hit the market tomorrow to make money. Peace.